I would like to thank the DEI effort for my position in this company. I am content and hope to be here until retirement. I am sorry, but you don't have the necessary credentials for the job.
Brother, I am not a junkie. My child and I are hungry, with nowhere to sleep tonight. Could you help me? If you don't want to give me money, could you help me get to a shelter or some place that would take my child in?
Can't help you. I had to earn my money, and my time is too valuable.
Trump and his fascist forces are attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion programs from all sectors of American society. We have here tonight in closing, Mr. Johnson, one of the most respected and dynamic Afro-American leaders. Mr. Johnson was gracious enough to let our crew crowd their way into his modest home, so who could be with you tonight? Take it away, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you for having me, Kate. At our corporation's monthly meeting earlier, I stated, in no uncertain terms, that even though I had not benefited from DEI and had obtained my position solely based on my superior talent, that we still needed to continue to support DEI. Later that day, I was forced to deny employment to a bright but somewhat unqualified Afro-American woman because of the corporation's backing down on DEI. On my way home, I saw a homeless woman with a little child. I thought to myself, how many will join her if DEI is shut down?
Sobering thoughts. That's it for tonight. Good night.
I have gathered you here as representative activist for the woke movement. You are aware that I am an alien AI entity that is assigned to this area, that you call the United States of America, to determine how we will interact with your species. I will ask each of you some questions, and I will give you uninterrupted time to answer. I am only capable of asking questions based on my logic unit. I have no emotions. My first question is for Tim, who is an activist for the homeless. Tim, what do you do for the homeless?
I work for the People Need a Home nonprofit agency. I interact with the homeless and try to ascertain what their immediate needs might be. If they are looking for help, I steer them to counseling, addiction treatment programs, food banks, shelters. I basically help them find their way.
What if they aren't seeking any services and are content to be where they are?
Well, I still remain their advocate and will fight for their right to remain where they are.
I have a few more questions you can answer briefly. Do you get paid? How many people a day do you get off the street? If people refuse services, then why do you defend them?
Yes, I draw a salary, but trust me, I could make a lot more money doing something else. It will take a dedicated and coordinated effort by local and federal government to get the homeless off the streets. We defend the homeless even when they don't want our help because they are still human beings.
Next we have Lydia, from the Black Lives Matter organization. Lydia, what do you do for blacks?
I am a coordinator that makes sure that in my region, we expose the systemic racism that threatens the black community every day. We make sure the police doesn't get away with their fascist actions towards black males in particular.
My first question is, how do you protect Black lives from the assaults, gang violence, and murders perpetrated by Black males, young ones in particular?
Yes, we have some problems in our communities that we have to work out, but that doesn't excuse the incidents of unwarranted police aggression.
Wouldn't it be better for Black Lives Matter to concentrate on the source of thousands of deaths each year, rather than the source, at best, of dozens of incidents? Wouldn't it be most productive if Black Lives Matter teamed up with the police to identify and remove the small hardcore groups of criminals in the community? That would also help with the police problem, in that they wouldn't have to come into the community as often, and they would be less likely to go after innocent parties, because they would know who they were looking for, thanks to your group.
We are not going to rat out our young Black men to the fascist, racist, justice system. Those so-called hardcore criminals are our future.
I believe Black Lives Matter has $30 million via donations and the selling of merchandise. You no longer live in the community that you're claimed to be defending. You, instead, move to a more upscale neighborhood where very few Blacks can afford. My question is, what do you do, or the Black Lives Organization do, that justifies the money accumulated from a concerned public?
That is a racist statement and question. I am one of the founding people of Black Lives Matter, and I help oversee its growth and direction. No one asks what is the salary of the white heads of various charities, or what it is that they do. You may be alien to our world, but you have fallen into the systemic racist atmosphere that dominates our country.
Susan, I believe you are an activist for the sanctuary-seeking aliens from other countries.
I work for Open Arms nonprofit agency. We used to provide consulting services to the city regarding the homeless problem. We terminated that contract to contract with the city to help them with the illegal sanctuary-seeking immigrants. My job is called an assessor. I travel to the various sanctuary sites and transportation hubs and assess the needs of the illegal immigrants. We then report back to the city as to how best meet the illegal immigrants' demands.
How many people did your agency get off the streets when you had the homeless contract? Has the tremendous effort the city is making trying to satisfy the needs and wants of the illegal immigrants taken away from services normally available for low-income citizens? What will your agency do when the illegal immigration situation subsides?
We didn't get anyone off the streets. That is the job of local government. We were consultants. Yes, those who normally have access to shelters and food banks have been shut out. When you take on a great humanitarian effort, sacrifices have to be made. I believe there will always be social problems for our agency to address. I worry not about my job or economic future.
Jamal, I believe you are the creator and director of Gang Peace Now.
Yes, I am the creator and director of Gang Peace Now. When I was a young Black man, with little options in the ghetto, I was heading down a bad path. Fortunately, there was a gang intervention worker who took an interest in me. That changed my life, and I decided to give back to the community. It took months of relentless knocking on doors, trying to get funds to start and run the project. Eventually, some woke Democratic politicians took a leap of faith and gave me a multi-million-dollar grant, and as they say, the rest is history.
How many gang members are in your service area, and a rough guess of how many non-gang members in the same age group are there? If all gang members were to suddenly disappear, what would be the effect on the community? How many workers do you have?
I would say there are about 200 gang members in my service area. Note, this means fully initiated. There is also, at least, that number of petty criminals who associate with the gangs. There are thousands of young males in my service area who aren't gang members or criminals. I have 15 employees, and I am proud to say several were former gang members. I constantly seek funding to increase our staff.
You seem sincere in your mission, but gang violence and crime in general has gone up during the years you have been operating. Even though society might lose some potentially productive citizens, if gangs and other criminals were taken off the streets, such as yourself, but wouldn't it be better to do that and focus all of our mentoring, counseling, etc., on the thousands of non-gang members and non-criminals?
Obviously, I would hate to give up on people, some of whom could still be reached. This is emotional, not rational. As far as helping the quote, good kids, there are no programs for that. The woke politicians are not interested in helping the good kids in the ghetto.